Hey guys, new deck profile for you. This is my old school-ish Meklord deck profile. This is based off of a particular deck that I played back when the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, or the Nintendo DS game, the World Championship 2011, I think it was, game was out, and I was playing that. And this is the Meklord deck profile that I used on that game. And I was thinking about it recently, and I thought about if I could improve it in some way and make it a little bit, add a few more modern cards and kind of make it a little bit better. Still kind of a work in progress, I guess. I'm going to be playing with it, seeing ways that I can improve it or anything. And if you guys have any ideas, be sure to tell me. I'm gonna try and keep out any of the newer Meklord support. I'm trying to keep it as the three Meklord Emperors, and that's kind of it as far. Their field spell, the original one, Meklord Fortress, I think it was. Those are the only actual Meklord cards I'm kind of hoping to use in this. Just to kind of keep it that whole old sense feel, as well as I'm playing three of each of the Meklord Emperors, just because that's what I played then, and it just doesn't feel like the same deck if I'm not playing three of each. I know it's not going to be the best ratio, but that's what I want to play, and if you want to kind of copy this deck just for your own amusement, you certainly don't have to use the same ratios that I'm using, or even the same cards if you find other options as well. But this is just what I've come up with the cards that I have. I'm going to start off with monsters. 3 Meklord Emperor Wisel. This is your best Meklord Emperor in the deck. 2500 attack and defense. If you guys don't know what Meklords do, what the Emperors do is anytime that a monster that you control is destroyed by a card effect, and it doesn't matter if it's your opponent's or your own, if it's just a card effect that destroys it, you can special summon this card from your hand. Now, Wisel and one of the other ones, Skiel, however you want to call it, because some people call it different, or pronounce it differently. These two cards are the only cards that can attack while they're on the field. Your other monsters can't attack. Granel, however, can. Your other cards can attack. So, that's just something to keep in mind. Another reason why this card is the best is because he is basically the Meklord Shien of your deck. How Shien negates spell and trap card activations, this guy has a very similar effect, but except it only applies to spells. Once per turn, during either player's turn, if your opponent would activate a spell card or effect, you can negate the activation and destroy it, which is really good, and it can mess up some of the decks you play against depending on the matchup. And just might as well say it now, guys, this is not a particularly great deck. It's not super consistent. It's not super competitive. This is just a nostalgic deck that I kind of made for my own amusement. So please don't take this to any regionals or locals or anything, because you're gonna get crushed. Just plain and simple. So, yeah. Next, we're gonna play 3 Meklord Emperor Granels. This guy, his attack is always going to be half of your current life points, and that's not when he's summoned. It fluctuates depending on your life points. So if your life points change, his attack changes. His attack and defense are each equal to half of your life points. And this guy is your way that you can potentially OTK your opponent and activate a limiter removal. And another really techie key part of this deck, Opti-Camouflage Armor, which lets them attack directly. The limiter removal doubles his attack, so if you get this right away and you're going second, you have the potential to just OTK your opponent with this guy. And then, I forgot about that. All of these Meklord Emperors have an additional effect. They're basically anti-synchro monsters. Once per turn, you can target one synchro monster, your face-up synchro monster your opponent controls, and equip it to this card, and that applies to all the Meklords, so they all have the equipping effect. And they all gain attack based on the combined attack of the monsters that you equipped using this effect. So, add a Stardust Dragon to it, its attack becomes 5,000. Add just another Stardust Dragon, for example, just because I'm not going to go on too many complicated attacks. It would go, or a Red Dragon Archfiend, it would go up that much more. And each one has a little bit different secondary effect on top of that. Once per turn during either player's turn, when Wisel, this is Wisel's effect. When an opponent's spell card is activated, you can negate the activation and destroy it. That's his effect, which actually I did mention that before. This guy, his effect is the monster you can steal. Once per turn, you can target the one synchro monster your opponent controls, equip it to this card. This card gains the combined attack. And then you can target one of these equipped monsters and special summon it to that target to your side of the field in defense position. And you can do that once per turn, I believe. So you can just steal the Stardust Dragon and then special summon it to your side of the field in defense position. And you'll be able to use its effects too. The whole negate effects that destroy and everything. So that's why he's really good. And then lastly, Skiel, he's got 2200 attack and defense. His effect is you can send the monster that is equipped to this card to the graveyard. And then this card can attack your opponent directly, but you don't really use that because of Opti-Camouflage Armor, which I'll get to once I go into my spells. And those are the 3 Meklord Emperors that I play in my deck. I don't play any other Meklord cards in this particular build, just because that's how I want to play the deck. You certainly don't have to do that if you don't want to. This is probably one of the best ways to get out the Meklord Emperors, and it works multiple turns. During your main phase, this is a Playful Possum, by the way, in case you can't read. Playful Possum is a effect. During your main phase, you can destroy this face-up card on the field if your opponent... and your opponent must control a monster with higher attack than this card for you to activate and resolve this effect. So, go turn 2, you summon him, your opponent has almost always a monster with an attack that's higher than 800. So you're just gonna destroy this card with its effect, and special summon a Meklord Emperor from your hand. And then if this card was destroyed using this effect during any future standby phase, and it doesn't have to be the next one, it can be any one in the future, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, and then you can use its effect all over again to destroy itself, and special summon another Meklord Emperor, and then you get its effect again following standby phase. So it's a really good way to get out your Meklord Emperors. Now, here's one of the more fun modern cards, which works splendidly in this deck. I play 3 True King Lithosagym, the Disaster, mainly because I play a decent amount of Earth-type monsters. So you can... the Meklord Emperors only get their effects if a monster on your field is destroyed. It doesn't work by the hand. So you're going to want to summon like a Playful Possum to the field and destroy that since it's an Earth, and any other monster in your hand. And then special summon Lithosagym, the Disaster. And then, since the card was destroyed by an effect, you can special summon a Meklord card from your hand. So it's just a fun card. And if they were both Earth, then you just get to banish some up to 3 monsters with different names from your opponent's extra deck. Play 1 Scrap Kong. I probably would play this at 2 or 3. I only have 1 copy, though. What this card is if this card is, when this card is normal summoned, it's automatically destroyed. Since that is a card effect, you'd get to summon a Meklord Emperor. And then if this card is destroyed by the effect of a scrap card, which itself is included. It's kind of like a redundant sentence, I feel. And sent to the graveyard, you can select one scrap monster in your graveyard, except Scrap Kong, and add it to your hand. And the targets for that would be my 2 Scrap Goblins. I'd probably play these at 2-2 ratios, but I only have the 1 copy of the Scrap Kong. This is kind of a defensive monster that can also get out your Meklord Emperors. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this face-up defense position card is selected as an attack target, destroy this card at the end of the battle phase, not at the battle step, so you'll be able to last the whole battle phase with multiple attacks. And then, if this card is destroyed by the effect of a scrap card, which does include itself, and sent to the graveyard, you can select one scrap monster in your graveyard, which would be Scrap Kong, except one scrap monster except Scrap Goblin, and add it to your hand. So you can just kind of loop them if you're able to do that. And then the self-destruction effect gets out Meklord Emperor. I also play 3 Baobaboon for draw power and stuff. One thing that really bothers me with this, though, is that it's a dark. Why is it a dark? It does not look like a dark, it looks like an earth. But that's just how it is. It would have worked better with Lithosagym if it were an earth, but it's not. This card is just for draw power. I'm assuming you guys know what it does. If it's normal or special summon, draw 1 card. If it's destroyed by battle or card effect, special summon any number of Baobaboons from your deck to your hand. And then after you draw a card, you have to place 1 card from your hand on top of the bottom of your deck. And then the last card is Time Wizard, because it works in this deck. You kind of win either way. Either you blow up your opponent's field with its effect, or if it succeeds, or if it fails, it blows up itself, and then that lets you summon a Meklord Emperor. So it's kind of a win-win situation, unless you don't have a Meklord Emperor in your hand. But I'd like to play this guy at probably 2, I guess, just because I don't necessarily see him super often, but he's a good card to use. I love this card. It's really fun, and it does add to the nostalgia of the deck. And then on to spells, 3 Opti-Camouflage Armor. This is one of the key cards of the deck that I was telling you about earlier. This card can only be equipped to a level 1 monster. A monster equipped with this card can attack your opponent's life points directly. So this is where that kind of OTK comes in. You get your if you summon your Granel, you equip Opti-Camouflage Armor to him, and you activate Limiter Removal, which would double. I think this would double Meklord Emperor Granel's attack. I still probably should look up a ruling on that, because I'm not the most expert of a player. I don't know all the rules. I haven't done the judge course, but I'm thinking that it does go up to 8,000, and then you can just attack directly, and then if you don't get your attack off, or if it doesn't go through or something, it'll get destroyed, and then you just summon another Meklord from your hand. Pretty simple. Not the easiest to get off, but if you're able to, it's a really simple OTK. And then you can also use that on your other Meklord Emperors too, so all of them can attack directly because they're all level 1s. You can play, like I said, the 1 Limiter Removal. 2 Dark Hole, because you want to be able to destroy your own monsters too, so you can get your Meklords out. I play 1 Seal of Orichalcos for the destruction effect and for the 500 plus attack. I just want to play that. It's not a spectacular card. It's not a staple for the deck. You don't have to play it if you don't want to. I know probably a lot of you who are looking to build the deck won't play it. But I like the card. And it's also good because I don't play an extra deck with this particular deck, just because I don't really have any tuners, and I don't really want to overlay my Meklord Emperors very much. I might just add in 1 or 2, just because, but for the most part, you don't really rely on your extra deck. to help with draw power, and I really should get more copies of this. But I play 3 Supply Squad. I'm substituting the Meklord Fortress field spell. You can play that too if you want. Basically, if this card is destroyed, you add a Meklord Emperor from your deck to your hand. So you can play this, MST it or Twin Twisters it, and then add a Meklord monster from your deck to your hand. So it's the I think it's the only searching Meklord card. I'd have to double check that, but there aren't too many of them. But with all of the ways that your monsters get destroyed by battle or cards effects, it really helps with the draw power, which is why I played at 3. I play 2 Twin Twisters to kind of help against back row as well. And on the traps, play 3 Quaking, because since you play the 3 Opti-Camouflage Armor, you don't need to attack into monsters. Doesn't matter if they have high attack or defense, but you don't want them to attack you or use their effects. So you're going to use this to change them all to face down defense position, which is a permanent thing. And then you're just going to attack them directly with the Opti-Camouflage Armor. 1 Torrential Tribute, self-explanatory. It's basically another Dark Hole or vice versa. And then lastly, 2 Fiendish Chain. Just for help in preventing monster effects and stuff. You guys can also play like Max C if you want to, or other great cards like that. I just have them in other decks right now, and I don't really want to move a whole lot around. So I just this is kind of what I have in this deck right now. Tell me what you think. Like I said, guys, I know this deck isn't spectacular. I know it's not great. It's a nostalgic deck. It's just one that I kind of built for fun. So just keep that in mind. Be nice in the comments. If you have any ideas of engines for the deck, or like old school engines, I don't want Terratops or something like that, or whatever they're playing. I'd prefer 5D's era engines. I just can't really think of any at the moment. Or just other techie cards that I could play. I play the Time Wizards, but modern techie cards like the Quaking, Lithosagym, stuff like that. Just comment down below. Tell me what you think. Like and subscribe, I guess, because everybody says that at the end of their videos. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.